Welcome to another episode of Follow the Brand TV. I am your host, Grant McGaugh, CEO of 5-Star BDM, a 5-star personal brand and business development company. I want to take you on a journey through another deep dive into the world of personal branding and business development using compelling personal stories, business conversations, and tips to improve your brand. By listening to the Follow the Brand TV series, you will differentiate yourself from the competition and build trust with prospective clients and employers. You never get a second chance to make a first impression. Make it one that will set you apart, build confidence, and reflect who you are. Building your 5-star personal brand is a great way to improve your skills and knowledge. If you have any questions for me or any of my guests, please email me at grant.mcgaugh@5starbdm.com. Now, let's begin with our next episode on the Follow the Brand TV. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another special week on the Follow the Brand podcast. We're going to go all the way to the island and back. What island am I talking about? We were just talking about, that one little island they call Jamaica. And in those islands, there are very, very special people that are born there. And they leave the island and they become great individuals, fantastic people. And one of those fantastic people are going to join us today on the Follow Brand podcast. And we're going to have a candid conversation about their journey, about what they can give back to the community, and how they can be truly successful in their life endeavor. So I want to go ahead and introduce you to Miss Daphne Jones and have her, let's going to just take a small walk down her life and see what she wants to share with us today. You want to introduce yourself, Daphne?
Sure. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you guys are and whatever time you are watching this. I want to greet you and thank you, Grant, for having me to talk to your wonderful listening audience. Yeah, I am from Jamaica. My mom and dad were born and raised there, and they came to the United States to seek the golden opportunity, the American dream. And we were living in one of the poorest cities in Illinois. It's named Phoenix, Illinois. And we had a house that had 2 bedrooms, and it had 1 bathroom, and there were 7 of us that lived there. And no air conditioning. We didn't have a dishwasher. Well, no, that's not true. I was the dishwasher. We didn't have a shower. We didn't have a washing machine. My mom used to scrub on those scrub boards, and we take the clothes outside and hang them up on the line and hoist them up with a long stick so that they wouldn't drag the ground. So it was a very tough neighborhood. A lot of liquor stores, a lot of churches, but no grocery stores, no post office, et cetera. So very tough environment. But my mom was Jamaican, and she said, Daphne, you're not Black, you're British. Because Jamaicans were under the British rule at that time until about 1962. And so at that time, she wanted me to have the mindset of the Britons who invented a lot of things: polo, basketball, volleyball, all those sailing, all those things that came from the Brits. She said, I want you to think like that, be innovative, be creative. You're not Black, you're British. And so, but of course, she was the only one that told me that I wasn't Black. Other people called me the other words that Black people usually call. So I was very confused. But at one point, I was told that I should not go to college, that girls that look like me should become secretaries. And so I did that. I became a secretary for a magazine for about 3 months. And then I realized that I should not be a secretary. I should have a secretary. After all, I'm not Black, I'm British, right? And so I ended up going to college, got my bachelor's degree in 3 years. I got my master's degree in 1 year. And so even though my high school counselor told me, it'll never happen to you, you'll never make it through college, I was able to use him as an adjective, as somebody that I had to prove wrong. And I've found that I've used that type of motivation most of my life to get to where I got to. When people tell me I can't, I'm like, you want to watch me work? You want to watch me do that? And that became my motivation. So because of my mom, because of someone who told me that I couldn't, he put a limit and he put a label on me. I said, no, that is not going to happen to me. I ended up going to work for IBM right after college, and really haven't looked back since. And since then, I've retired about 3 years ago, and now I serve on corporate boards, and I'm an author, and I'm a CEO of a company that is helping the people serve on boards. And part of my job is to help help people do better than I did, faster than I did, and advance. I want to speak truth to power. And my goal is to also to empower those young girls, those young boys who need to be empowered, inspired. And if they're overlooked and undervalued, I want you to know I was too. And I want them to know that they can make it in this world if they choose to do that. So that's my story in a nutshell. I'm a grandmother, I'm a mother, I'm a pastor's wife, and I live in Miami and I live in New York. So that's my story.
Well, I tell you, we're going to unpack a little bit of that story, because first of all, what I heard out of that was mindset. That your mother gave you a mindset, even though you were surrounded outwardly with certain outward conditions, the exterior conditions that were, it's depressed. It was a depressed situation. But yet she gave you the insight to see outside of that, gave you that, you say the Brit mindset, but that is just because you can use your abilities to create, think through it. You are from, of a different world in Jamaica, but you can start to see outside of that. And then I believe it gave you some confidence, confidence.
Yeah.
And then you just found that path forward. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think when the counselor had my mind for a minute, and whoever has your mind has you. He had my mind for a moment. And then when you realize that if you get the right tool sets, so there's mindset, there's tool set, and then there's skill set. I started with a mindset that, to your point, it was trying to drive innovation, trying to think in excellent manner, to be different, to be great, to be amazing. And then getting the tools of education, getting the tools of my career allowed me to then have the skill set that enabled me to be sought after. They say you should get in where you fit in. No, don't get in where you can fit in, get in where you can stand out. And as a result of my skill set, because of the tool set that I had that was brought to bear because of my mindset, now people ask me to go places and speak on things because I'm not like everybody else. And so that's what I want to encourage folks. It's your mindset. Use the tools that you have at your disposal, and they are there. And then you'll get the skill sets that you will never lose.
Well, I tell you, I'm tuning into some passion right now. Now you've been solving problems that were bigger than you. Those are big problems, those aren't Daphne problems. Those are societal problems. You took that on like, okay, when that comes to my shore, when that comes to my beach and where I'm at, I'm going to step over that.
Yeah.
And you were very passionate about solving those problems with your skill sets, So tell us more about the passion that you have and how you're solving those problems with your skill sets and what you want to do going forward.
Well, there's two skill sets that I'm using, and I have passion about two things. And I'll say one that is certainly the audience will certainly gravitate towards. I believe in using my platform, my experiences, my position, my senior vice president, former status to speak truth to power. A lot of times there are individuals that are in CEO positions or COO positions or SVP, senior vice president positions that believe that the rules don't apply to them, or it doesn't matter what anybody thinks. What matters is what they think. And as a board member, I speak truth to power. I serve on boards and CEOs report to me. They report to the board members, right? And so how do you speak to those leaders that now report to you. And so whether it was the George Floyd situation, I'd had CEOs that asked me, how do I let the people in my company and organization know that I care about them? And then I would speak truth to them. I would not let them off the hook and say, no, you're doing just fine. I would sit down with them for hours at a time and talk about that. So how do I speak truth to power so that they can know that it's not about the customer only, it's about the people that work for them. It's about the communities in which they live and work. It's about the vendors. It's about the procuring. Are you using your money to get Black procurement? Are you using your money to get Black women or people of color to be vendors for you? You work in a community of people of color. How are you really driving the health of those people that are in your community? So speaking to the power is one thing. The other passion I have still within the diversity realm is I empower the underserved. I empower the overlooked. I want to empower the undervalued, those people who don't believe they are worth it. Those people who have been told that they are not good enough. I've been told that I wasn't, well, I certainly wasn't man enough. I wasn't white enough. I wasn't global enough. I was too transactional. I was too nice. I was too tough. I was everything but perfect in my career. And I want those people who have been beat down and pushed down, whose mindset have been conditioned to believe they're not good enough, to say, you are that and then some. We all have superpowers. So part of my passion is to help people uncover their superpower and use that superpower to be able to make something of themselves, but also to make something of the companies that they work for. So what I do in my superpower is I'm a technology person. I do cybersecurity, I do digital technologies. That's what I did as my superpower to help make my companies great. And in turn, they pay me to help make me greater financially so that I can turn around and give that money, give my time, give my talent, give my treasure to people who need to be encouraged because they've been discouraged. So I use my platform to speak truth to power. I use my platform as an author to be able to empower the underserved, the overlooked, and the undervalued. And as a coach, I do that. But I also use my talent to help companies with technology. That's how I get paid, was through my work as a technologist.
Well, I tell you, I'm very proud of you. I've been in technology for 20, 25 years. And how many Black women have I encountered that were the CIO or even a director or VP of IT? Very, 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 very few. Right. You served as a CIO of a Fortune 500 company, at GE. I think that says a lot about you and your ability to strive forward and create a path for yourself. And that takes a brand. Now I'm curious about, this is the Follow the Brand show. This is the Follow the Brand podcast. Everybody has a brand. I'm about the personal brand. And so I want to know, how do you define your brand and how has that helped you to create a path forward?
That's a great question. Let me define brand as reputation. Let me define brand as, what do you want to be known for? How would people describe you? Before you walked into a room, how would they describe you? That's sort of what I'll try to use as my definition of brand. And the first thing is, I'm a head, heart, and gut leader, right? That is my brand. So the head, what the head is, the brain, it's the mind, it's do you know business? You have to learn business. You have to be strategic. You have to be somebody that gets the job done. Using your head, putting your mind, putting your brain, putting everything that you've got in your head into it. But it's more than that. People don't care how much you know. They want to know how much you care. So when you look at heart, because I said head, heart, and guts, when you look at your heart, that's your passion. That's your compassion. That's your empathy. Do you care about a person whose child was born premature? They want to know that you as a leader care about them as people. That's why the Great Resignation is happening today. A lot of employees are mad that when they had to work from home, their hours didn't change, people quit. They ended up having to take the employees that quit's job in addition to their own job, and the employers didn't really care and show empathy about that. As a leader, your heart shows collaboration. I want to work with you. I don't want to work against you. So that's the heart. And the guts is, you can't be all nicey, kissy, kissy all the time. Part of having guts, Grant, is about challenging the status quo. If something is wrong, you speak to it, and you do it in the right way, right? You do it with style and appropriate emotional intelligence. You have to be able to handle ambiguity. Not everything has a perfectly clear-cut answer. You can look at what the president of the United States have to do. They deal with ambiguity all the time. As a guts, I have to push and I have to pull like a Harriet Tubman did. Harriet was always pushing forward. She was brave. She had guts, right? But at the same time, she pulled people along with her so they could escape slavery. So that's guts, that's head, and that's heart. So I think that's one aspect about me is I try to be smart. I try to have compassion, and I try not to run away from danger or things that might be scary. I am also known as, I make the complex simple. I talk about push-pull. I talk about different acronyms, but how do you help people get complex subjects? And that's what companies love. They want to know that you can help people understand what might be very, very difficult. I'm a diva, I'm a mom, I'm a grandmother, I'm a pastor's wife, and I'm an author. When I think about how do I put all those things together, making the complex simple, head, heart, gut, diva, mom, is we all have superpowers. All of us do. And what you have to do is take your values, your experiences, and your perspective and put those together and use those superpowers to help a community grow, to help my church grow, to help my family grow, to help my company grow, to help my people that I'm coaching grow, my department of people that work for me, my board. So you take those superpowers that make you different, that make you a unicorn and make you special, and you speak in the language of the community. You speak in the language of the business. Business talks about finance. The community talks about jobs. Whatever that superpower is, you speak in the language of that community, and you have to align with them as well. So that's the two things that I always did, was make sure I understood the language of who I'm trying to influence, and that I was on their side, or that they understood that I was aligned with them. And when they know that you care and that you're aligned with them, and they can understand what you're saying, then you win. They invite you in. They want to hear what you have to say. And then, of course, you study. You have to study to show yourself approved. You have to study to understand who they are and what their goals are. But when you understand their objectives and you align with them, or you show them how you align with them and you speak their language, your superpowers will win every time.
there's this idea that that once you get a certain title, or once you become a CEO of an organization or whatever the pinnacle is, that you've arrived. And I like to think that no one ever really arrives at anything. And if you do, or if you feel like you have, you probably should really do some soul searching and say, maybe I'm complacent. Maybe I'm too comfortable, because like I mentioned earlier, I feel like you should always be challenging yourself and say, where can I improve on just a little bit more? And you were absolutely right earlier when you were talking about this day and time and how you're marketing yourself. And that's why I love your platform so much, is that it speaks directly to what it means to market and brand yourself, not as a organization, but who we are as individuals. And we all have our own brands.
I love that statement. It's what you just said there, because when you walk that path in technology, people expect you like, all right, they're going to talk to me in the language of software. They're going to talk to me in the language of hardware. But you step beyond that from I call the technical side of things, and you start getting into the managerial and the entrepreneurial, and those are different languages. They're different thought processes. And you're starting to exude that. So my question to you is this, a little bit off script, because I think you've answered some of the things I wanted to know as far as your belief system. But as you traversed your career and you started to go from that technical aspect of your career, and then you got into the managerial aspect, and then you got in, when I say that, I mean all the way from the director to VP to CIO, but then you got into that board world. And all of those worlds took different skill sets, and then they were transitional, right? Because they operated differently. Help us understand how you had to change and grow as you went up those ladders.
Excellent question. Very good question. It's like I have a 5-month-old grandchild here in the house, and when you think about yourself when you were young, at first you couldn't walk, then you saw other people walking and your bones got stronger, and then you learned how to walk. You couldn't talk, but then you heard other people talking to you, saying your name, and somehow you learned how to talk. So as you go through and traverse through your career, you're an analyst, a junior analyst. Then you see how analysts talk and what they do, how they dress, what books they read, what things they work on, how they make decisions. And the next thing you know, you're mirroring them. So I believe there's role models that you have that you may not know who they are, but you kind of follow them. That person's always getting promoted. That person's always in the company of the CEO. I wonder what they're doing. You find a way to know what other people are doing. And when it's time, you start to mimic that behavior. Just like kids mimic adults, you mimic the behavior of someone that looks like you and may do what you want them to do. And then after you do that, then you get mentors. Mentors are the people that when you're, let's say, walking down a dark road, there's a pothole, that mentor shines that flashlight and says, don't walk there, walk over there instead. So this is all learning, right? You're learning how to be that next level. And then you have people that are sponsors that instead of shining the light on the road, they shine the light on you. And they say, there's Daphne, look at Daphne. We got to give her an opportunity. But all the while you are learning, you are watching, and you are trying, and you're experimenting, right? And so you learn the job that you have in front of you, then you do it, and then you transform it and make it better. And as you make that job better, they will look at you and say, boy, she made that job 10 times better than she found it. Let's give her a chance to do the next bigger job. You're never always ready perfectly to do that next job because you haven't done it before. But you have the intellect, you got the head, you got the heart, you got the guts, you have the curiosity. You stay up late and read and study and ask questions of your mentor. You ask questions of your role model, whatever. And then you find that you can run in that job, but you can't do it perfectly. That's when you learn the job again, you do it, and then you transform it. And then you then get the next job after that. So it's always learn, do, transform, and you never stop learning. So when I became a board member, I didn't know how to be a board member. I had never done one before, and I had rarely seen one in person. Or I might have seen them, but didn't sit in a board meeting. So I didn't know what they did. But they felt I had enough intellectual curiosity, that I had talked to the right people, I talked the right way, and then you get it. And then you make some mistakes because you're learning how to be a board member. And then now I am doing the role of a board member. And now my next job is to transform the role of board members as I am teaching them about cybersecurity. A lot of boards don't know about technology, right? Yeah. Right. And so one of the things that we have to do as board members in IT, you and I are in IT, how do we teach the board that cyber is not an IT issue, it's an enterprise risk issue? So now I'm transforming my board to be even better as a board. That's how you do it.
That is, I couldn't have said it better for certain. I definitely couldn't have said it better. And I like how you said the transformation part of it, as that you don't just get in the job and do the job, well, you transform the position. And that definitely gets you noticed. That is wonderful. And I'm sure you have done that. And now you're in this board world and you're giving back. And here's the question, because now you're saying, you can look back now and you say, well, what if you had that what do they call that? The hot tub time machine, right? If you could go back in time.
Oh, okay.
Some things like what, if you could, and if you wish you could get back there, what would you have changed before you began your career?
I'll go back to the part of what I was told. I was told that I wasn't good enough to go to college. So I would go back and say, don't listen to people that put limits and labels on me. Mm-hmm. Because there's something that a really smart guy taught me once. His name is Chaz Hartwig. I love Chaz. And he said, Daphne, there's this thing called thoughts, actions, and results. How you think will determine what you do. And whatever you do will create results, outcomes. So if you think that you can drive your car 100 miles on 50 miles worth of gas, then you'll try to do that. And then what'll happen is you'll run out of gas. So if you don't like the results you're getting, you got to change how you think. So how you think, so they had me thinking that I could never go to college. They had me thinking that, so therefore I didn't go to college. And therefore, my results were I became a secretary at Women's Day magazine. Mm. They had my mind. They put limits on me. They put labels on me. You can't be, girls that look like you don't go to college. They won't get in. Daphne, if you try to get in, you won't get in. If you do get in, you won't get out. You will flunk out. You won't graduate. And if you do happen to graduate, no one's going to hire you. That's what so my mind was there. Your thoughts drive your actions, and your actions drive your results. If you don't like the results you're getting, we got to change how we think. So I wish long time ago I had not had that thought. So it delayed my ability to go to college. And I've been scared ever since. I've been asking permission ever since. Not literally today, but at some point in my career, I woke up and I said, you know what? I'm a bad girl. I know that I have superpowers, and I'm not going to ask permission anymore. They're not going to get my mind anymore. And that's the secret to me, is don't let them get your mind. Don't hurt them, Hammer. Don't let them get your mind.
I started Gateway Healthcare Solutions to help medical facilities to improve their financial performance. GHS has a healthcare denial prevention strategist practice designed to improve healthcare financial services, offering denial management and business development with a strategic approach of mechanisms for hospitals, clinics, and providers on how to maximize payer contractual agreements.
We are a growing firm with a demonstrated record of success with our client projects by leveraging our wide-ranging skills and expertise to assist with delivering high-quality services such as denial management, revenue cycle management, strategy consulting, management training, medical software, and contract management. Our approach offers an analysis of your current state coupled with a proven solution and execute with a process improvement strategy and implementation methodology for our clients.
GSS develops an understanding of its customers' problems by identifying, assessing, and tailoring the services to suit the business needs. Selecting the right healthcare solutions advisor can bring you the management services you need and peace of mind you deserve.
Call us today for a free consultation.
I am Black business. From the moment I wake until the time I sleep, I am Black business. I am Black business. Are you Black business? I am Black business. Do you support Black businesses? I support Black business because I am Black business. Black Business Expo, one of the largest business showcases in the history of Black business in the world. Sign up today at www.blackbusinessexpousa.com or call 919-308-9090. I am Black business.
The Black Business Expo's mission is to raise funds for high school seniors going to college or K-12 entrepreneurs. This expo is a fundraiser for students. Please, you may go to www.blackbusinessexpousa.com to donate to the scholarship fund or use the Cash App at $BBXUSA. Our goal is to give laptops and up to $5,000 to 10 students. Students can register online at www.blackbusinessexpousa.com. Every dollar counts. Please donate to the Black Business Expo USA Scholarship Fund.
Because it was
I'm telling you, when you just said that, I heard your mom. Your mom has been telling you from the beginning.
Yeah, it's true.
She's been telling you to think outside this box. You are not this box. They got inside, you know, they put you in the box, you stay there for a minute, but then you got out. You got out, and you're hearing that over and over again, but you believe, and then you start getting that momentum.
Yeah,
right?
and then positive reinforcement. There's a thing I do, and I just want you guys to think about this exercise. When I'm sometimes speaking, especially to young kids, you know, parents and those aren't necessarily motivated by this exercise, but I'll take like a $50 bill. So pretend this is $50 bill right here. It's not, and I would say, who wants this $50 bill? All the kids' hands go up. I want it, because it's real money. So then I will crumble it in my hand like this. And I will say, who wants it now? And they still, I want it. And then I throw it on the ground, Grant, and I'll say, who wants it now? And I'm looking at it. And they say, me. And then I step on it with my foot and I crush it into the ground. I say, who wants it now? They say, me. So I pick it up and I'm like, why do you want this old crushed up, dirty, because it still has value, Miss Jones. So the point is, no matter what they say to you, no matter what they do to you, when they throw you on the ground, when they step on you, when they try to throw you away, you still have value.
I can't even did you hear the applause? I applaud you.
People have to know. My mama told me that, and I want everybody to know that. And they will try to get you to think that you don't. They'll throw you on the ground. They'll even put you in a garbage can. You better climb your way out that garbage can, because your value will not be realized by the world until you give yourself to the world.
I 100% agree with that, because everyone has special talent. You are special. Somebody told me that, look at a blade of grass. One blade of grass is completely different from every other single blade of grass. Yeah. That means our Creator put so much love and thought into that just one blade of grass that made it so unique, just like your fingerprint. Right. You are the most unique person in the entire world. And I believe that our Creator wants us to be all that we can be, because we are all unique. We are all special. And we all have these powers. And I love your analogy about that $50 bill. No matter what, we all have value, but you have to display your value.
That's right.
You've got to put it to work. So you don't end up in somebody else's dream. And their dream of you is not for the fulfillment of who you are in your world. So you have to put yourself in the right mindset.
Narrative. Otherwise, someone will create the narrative for you.
Correct.
They don't know you. They didn't make you. They don't have a heaven or hell to put you in. So you got to create your own narrative.
You are the master of your soul. So you've got to make the right decisions. But that's what we're looking for you today, because you are mentoring us, right? You're being a steward for us. To move forward. So I'm going to change the narrative a little bit right now, because you've written a book and you're helping people right now. I want you to talk about that. Let us know what you're doing right now.
Yeah, I'm doing two things. Number one, I'm doing three things. Number one, I'm serving on board. So three companies, three multi-billion-dollar companies. I help govern what the CEO and his or her teams do to thrive in the market. So that's one thing I do. The other two things that I'm doing is I have a book that's coming out in November, and the name of the book is Win When They Say You Won't. Does that sound like my childhood a little bit?
Yeah.
So it's part autobiographical. It tells the story about when from the beginning, the kind of humble beginnings I grew up in, and also what did people tell me, and even to this day, even to when I retired, I was still told by people or shown by example that I would not win. And so this book is for people who are underserved, overlooked, undervalued, who may not believe they can win, who've been told that they cannot, but it's also for people who know they can, but want to know how. And so it is a book that gives you instruction. It gives you motivational stories about other women and people like myself, and it gives you a tool set. So if you have the mindset that you can learn more, it gives you the tool set so that you will have the skill set to not just be a person who is a success, but I have a cycle that teaches you how to be successful, full of success, where you are successful every time. So you want to go from junior analyst to senior analyst. Well, my book tells you how to do that in the cycle. But then you want to go from senior analyst to director or manager. I teach you how to do that because you don't want to just be a one-hit wonder. You want to learn the job, do the job, transform the job, and you transform yourself at the same time. So my book talks about how do you transform yourself to go to the next level of capability and the next level. So whether you want to learn how to be a swimmer, you want to be a better wife, or you want to be in corporate America and be promoted to the next role, the book kind of takes you through a 4-step process, which is called EDIT. EDIT means change. So I can help you change your trajectory, change your role. And EDIT stands for envision, design, iterate, and transform. And so I teach you how to go from envisioning something, there's that mind again, to how do you go through acting it through to transforming it at the other end. So that's the book. It comes out by McGraw-Hill in November. So really excited about that.
Know your worth and your value, right? And take pride in that, everything that you are is valuable, no matter what you may be presented with, no matter what the outside world may try and tell you. Know your worth and your value, right? And there's pride in the color of your skin, your culture, your hair, everything about you, and take pride in that and walk in that. Because I think the biggest thing when we start to shift the way we see ourselves and project that out, it just starts to change the way you see things that are happening in front of you.
Follow the Brand TV broadcast host, Grant McGaugh, as he visits with top executives and entrepreneurs to find out their secrets of success with their personal brand. Follow the Brand TV broadcast host as he focuses on brand development to build better relationships, bring value to your business, relationships, and career. You will enjoy listening to each episode that is tailored to speak to you directly. If you're looking for this type of clarity in terms of building your brand, you have tuned into the right station. Each episode will help you to shape a conversation in the 5-star BDM network of 20,000 professionals and become a springboard for your corporate engagement and business opportunities. Each guest will frame their story, in the areas of personal branding, business development, career development, financial empowerment, and technology innovation. Grant McGaugh explains why he is the CEO and owner of his own professional career. Grant is an accomplished business leader and entrepreneur who wants to give back to individuals to grow their personal brand strategy. Tune in as he weaves his story about new possibilities, while to you exceed expectations. If you love storytelling, this show will make for fun.
5-Star BDM, Brand Development Masters, is a professional consulting and advisory group keenly focused on business development services for the small to mid-sized business and entrepreneurs. Although every business is unique, they often share business development challenges that can be addressed through smart branding. Services include process improvement and operations, digital strategy and transformation, business intelligence, digital marketing, and personal branding. Our business and personal branding company has helped a number of professionals and organizations to optimize and grow. This results in more business, more opportunities, better reach, positive outcomes. Visit www.5starbdm.com today to learn more.
Another thing I'm doing is I'm teaching people, leaders who are senior vice presidents, VPs, high-level executives. How do you get ready for board service? Diversity on boards is very important because usually the customers of these companies aren't all one gender. They're not one race. They're not one religious belief. There are a multiplicity of them. So how do we get the board to reflect the customer base that is out there? And so my goal is to have people of color, especially women and those who are not typically your same white guy that typically joins a board, same CEO to joins a board. How do you get them to be ready to contribute day one on being on a board? So I've got classes, we have coaching, we have online tutorials that my company, it's called The Board Curators, www.theboardcurators.com. And we're teaching people how to get ready to serve on boards. And again, it's the boards that CEOs report to. So it's one of the most important sought after roles that a person can play. And you do get paid to do that as well. And so that's what I'm up to. Plus, I'm a grandmother of a 5-month-old and a 1-year-old.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So they get some on-the-job training right away. I'm going to ask you one more question. Then I'm going to let you go. And that question is the challenge. And the challenge being, serving on the board or even giving the opportunity to serve on the board. What is that process like? So you could be a CEO. I know of CEOs that are right now CEOs of major hospitals. They're CEOs, right? And I would figure they're eyeballing now, how do I get on the board? Maybe I do get on the board, but then that process looks like, because I look at a lot of different leadership teams throughout the United States. And I do see, no matter, it is what it is. You usually see 5 white guys and maybe, 1 white woman, and then 1 woman that's probably of color, maybe somebody that's African-American, but not usually. I mean, it's kind of daunting. So he's like, how do I, even if I do get on this board, am I going to be comfortable on this board? What, is this something I really, really want to do or I don't want to do? Help us understand the importance of being on that board, and how do we get comfortable being there?
Yeah, there's 2 things that to me happen. There's a bottoms up approach. My book gets into the bottoms up approach. You don't have to wait for somebody to dub you some important position. You can take matters in your own hands, define your own success, and work your way up. But there's also top down. Okay, so that's how you develop people. Being on a board means that you get to ask the questions about the slate. So a senior vice president, a manager's job just opened up. Can you tell me, are you having a diverse slate? That's the question that I will ask as a board member. So having a person of color, having a diverse person on a board then allows the management team to be diverse. Because if I see that everybody on the CEO's team looks only like, and this could be, the CEO could be an African American. Everybody on the team shouldn't be African American either. So if everybody on that CEO's team or her CEO, the CEO's team is a woman, looks like her, that is out of order. So you can ask the question, are there not anybody that is of color or that is a gender or whatever that could be the head of manufacturing or that could be the head of sales? So my job is to drive diversity into the company as well as excellence in how they operate their finances, how they manage risk, how they hire people, how they drive great quality products. My job is to ask questions about a lot of things, including their teams and how are they making sure that they have a diverse slate. And so you have to do that. That's your job, in addition to making sure that the finances are right and the controls are good and they're not taking too many risks and they're acquiring the right kind of company. You do all that stuff too, but you got to make sure that your talents and your diversity is represented across the board. Now, if the management team is diverse, you best believe the team below them will be diverse. And the team below them will be diverse. Next thing you know, you got a diverse organization. So we have to have the guts to be able to ask the question in the right way. You don't start talking day one on the board. You don't ask that tough question day one. You wait, you look, you watch, you listen, you formulate your what you see, and you write down some thoughts. You have a buddy. I had a board buddy, somebody that you could ask these questions to that you trust, right? And so, yeah, so that's why being on a board for us is important.
That answered my question, because demystifying what the board actually is doing and why it's important having that seat at the table, because if that voice is not there, those questions aren't even asked.
There's no accountability. And so I have to give my guy credit. One of my CEOs said, Daphne, how do I handle this? How do I make sure that my folks know that I care? How do I show I care? How can I care? I want to care more. So I said, payroll. Are people of color being paid the same rate as people that are not of color? Who's in your pipeline? Who is next to be CEO? Do you have a pipeline that is diverse? Or is it only the people that have a P&L? Who has a P&L in this company? Are people of color have a P&L? If they don't, then there's something there. How are your policies? It's true that African Americans and African American men get incarcerated at a higher rate than the people that are white for just holding a marijuana or a joint or whatever. So some of the policies of hiring is you cannot ever have been arrested for whatever. Well, that is going to unduly affect men of color or people of color, right? So there's the policies, hiring policies, firing policies. There's procurement. Are we buying services from people of color, right? And are we giving to Black universities and colleges? My 5 Ps, right? So policy, payroll, pipeline, we have to hold them accountable. But one of my guys came to me and said, Daphne, what do I do? Now one of my board committees is focusing on the 5 Ps.
Now, see, that's wonderful. And I am so glad that you're here. I am so glad you're here. You didn't go to Women's Day. You didn't stay there very long. Probably very good.
Women's Day magazine.
You had a greater destiny. You have been wonderful. And you are wonderful from the beginning to the end. And I am so glad that you're doing what you are doing. You are definitely a great inspiration for me and a lot of other people. So if the audience wants to get in touch with you, what is the best way?
They can do that through DaphneEJones.com, www.DaphneEJones.com.
That's beautiful. So you've got your website. This has been great. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you for taking
Thank
the time.
you. You all
to
are
be a
wonderful.
guest.
God bless you guys, and learn your job, do your job, and transform your job, and you will always be a winner.
Sage advice is one of the things I love saying. We have sage guests that always come on Follow the Brand. You're definitely one of them. And everyone can tune into all the episodes on the Follow the Brand podcast at www.5starbdm. And that is B for brand, D for development, and for masters.com. Thank you very much, Daphne. You take care.
Bye-bye.
Hey everyone, it's Grant McGaugh, CEO of 5-Star BDM and host of the award-winning Follow the Brand podcast and TV series, where I help you to build a 5-star brand that people will follow. My genius is personal brand development through intelligent communication and helping you achieve your business and career goals. I am a requested speaker on digital technology and brand development issues. I want to work with you to increase the value of your current opportunities while attracting new ones. Every one of you is unique, and we all share challenges that can be addressed through smart branding. As a super connector, I work with you as an executive coach to guide you along the complicated business and career development road, providing the enhancement tools and information you need to succeed. Together, I will help you succeed in today's challenging business climate. I will evaluate and measure your progress. Best of all, I am right alongside you every step of the way. Build the brand called you. Genius is coming.